Well, good morning, and I'm here at Bang Pae waterfall. The sounds you can hear is because this is also the site of the gibbon rehabilitation project. I think they actually have more than gibbons there now, but anyway, that's what you can hear up in the trees there. Now, I'm familiar with this walk, or reasonably so. I've done it once before. So that's the first walk I did, and I actually tried the first time to go from Tonsai waterfall, which is this path leads between the two, and I found it impossible. The path up from Tonsai shows going straight up the waterfall, which was very treacherous, very slippy, a lot of steep rocks to climb up with no grip. And so I decided to try it from an alternative path that it shows, and that path simply didn't exist. So the next time I came down here, oh, and by the way, if you do it from Tonsai waterfall, and there's no reason why you can't go up the waterfall itself if you feel up to it, is you can't get in until after 9 o'clock, and as a foreigner they charge you 200 baht. I think it's 20 for locals. This end it's the same, but it doesn't open till 9, and you can just drive in. At Tonsai there's barriers. So we're starting now on what is the waterfall. Not much water, as you can see, hardly surprising. There is a little lagoon further up where local people, when I came back last time, the car park was full, and a lot of local people go swimming here. It was extremely humid last time. The path has been little used, so it wasn't always easy to find it as you got further into the jungle. The beauty of this is it is national park, so everything is all the trees here are pretty, it's natural trees, and at Tonsai end there are palm trees which are supposedly unique to Phuket. Pools here, which is where people swim. Tonsai waterfall is taller, a lot higher. You probably won't see it today because it's a bit of a roundabout way to get to it, which I'll explain when we get near. And it won't be, there won't be much water coming down. So we're not a lot further up, but as you see, another lagoon there, telling people to be careful swimming. Looks to be quite an easy little path down there. We're going on under this tree. And again, somewhere else you can clamber down, go have a dip if you want. Already feel the humidity in here. And now we're coming up to the actual waterfall, which I guess in the rainy season maybe a bit more spectacular than this. We're continuing now up here. So we'll leave the waterfall behind us and go on up. And here's the staff only sign. Staff only, just on this tree here. We go around and up there. Been climbing up now for a while. Still hear the stream down to the bottom. Do be careful, some of these branches, as I mentioned, they do have sharp spikes on them, and in places like here you do have to crawl under them, so recommend care be taken when negotiating spiny branches, even if the branches are dead. This one's too thick for me to cut. Just seen a squirrel going along bamboo, and obviously the usual insect sounds. Now you can see this is an example of where the path can become a bit indistinguishable. Just have to use your eyes and sort of look ahead if you can. I can see a couple of signs down there, the other side of this water, which you might not be able to see. It's like a little stream coming down to the main stream, and what clearly looks decent path going up the other side there with another sign. So I'll check the GPS once we've crossed to make sure, but that looks the way to me. So thus far we've been going meandering up and down, mainly up, but now we've dropped down to this pool. You can water flowing into it from a bit further above. We crossed the other side here. Now I remember last time I actually did go the wrong way for a little while before I found the path again. One of the problems with this is a nice, probably first clearing we've seen with sun coming through, with this dense canopy, is that you do have a problem with sometimes with GPS, and the signal can be swirling around your screen as it's trying to find where you are. Yeah, so nice to see a bit of sunshine. So very humid, I'm already pretty wet. A bit more about that later. But for now we're just going to cross here and hopefully find the path first time. Now you can see these, but this is one of these, I'm sure it's a palm or what it is, but these spikes, some of these are 2 inches long, what, 5 centimetres. This one's obviously growing and very sharp. You would not want to be falling into one of those. We crossed the stream again. GPS is all over the place now. But we do have, well, I'm fairly confident is the path. As I say, there's times when it does become obscure. You'd have to hunt it out. Could go up there or along here. Let me try along here. Over this tree. As I say, up to a lot of scrambling under trees and branches. You'd have to be careful with all these leaves underneath. There's a lot of, tree roots everywhere, which are very good. They provide you with good foothold, but they can also be a tripping hazard, so just be cautious. So we're going to try up there anyway. So I can't remember now, I think this was the spot before where it was difficult to follow. I'll show you my GPS tracker and you'll see what it's doing. No, that's not me walking, I assure you. That is literally the GPS searching for a signal, and it's zooming around all over the place. Now, it is very indistinct at that point. Just you do is just keep the stream sort of within sort of 20 meters to your right, and you will hit the more distinct path. Fallen tree here, some huge fungus plates. Try to get over it without causing any damage. It shows no ants on it. And off we go again. A magnificent big tree across our path, soaring way up. I say this is protected, so there's no rubber trees being chopped down for rubber trees. Okay, once we got through that section, the path's been fairly clear. Again, meandering up and down. A bit of scrambling to do under branches, but less so up to now. Probably hear the sounds of the jungle. I did hear far off to my right, which is further north. Sounded like the monkeys or gibbons calling to each other, but it sounded a long way off. The size of these roots is incredible. You probably can't tell from here, that's probably above ground, 18 inches, that's 40 centimetres. Then you've got to climb over them, and off we go. This is a termite mound. Seem to recall there's a few around here. There's certainly plenty of wood for them to go at. Nice big tree with an interesting hollow inside. Looks like one tree growing inside another. I imagine something's made their nest in there before now. A bit of a surprise back there. I was wandering around in search of the path again, making a bit of noise, when all of a sudden I heard more breaking of branches, and then caught a glimpse of what looked like a furry tail. Anyway, that followed, and nothing more exciting actually than a pack of dogs. 3, I'm not sure, might have even been a 4th one. What they were doing here, I discovered a bit later, because there was a local guy, and he was collecting pods, big black seed pods, which he said were a fruit. I mean, I guess they're probably a bean, but whatever. He said he uses them for cooking, and it's what much as I understood, and yeah, were delicious, so the dogs were with him. Okay, we're not too far off now, where I'm going to be turning around, heading back, and it's a point I'll show you. Important though if you're doing this walk, because you do have alternatives, which I've done both of them. Okay, now this sign is actually my target for today. From here I'm turning back and heading back to Bang Pae waterfall. Now what you can do, the main path shown on all the trails, or on all trails, goes across here, and then you climb uphill, and when you get to the top, there's nothing much to see up there, but you turn left and you'll see a rusty handrail, and you go down, follow that, and that takes you to another stream. You have to literally follow the stream, you cross it and go in it at places, and eventually it'll come out. I didn't follow it all the way down, I followed it most of the way, but then the rocks became quite treacherous. It will come out at the top of Tonsai waterfall. what I did was I came back down to this sign, and I was intrigued that it said parking 970 metres. So I followed that path that way. It's not like this. It does get a lot narrower, but it's still very clear until I reached the car park, or the road leading to the car park. And why that interested me was because I've tried to find this path from the other way and just couldn't. It's not surprising, because when I recorded this walking along here, it goes nowhere near where it's where the path is shown on the map. So there you are. I'm just going to have a sit down on that rock there, have a drink. Been going incredibly 3 hours now, and it's certainly not a 3-hour walk distance wise, but you do I've had spent at least I would say half an hour overall looking for the path, and there's a lot of going around to get past thick bushes where things are overgrown. You've got to take detours. There's a lot of crawling. I mean, I'm tall, and for me, I've spent half my time crawling under fallen branches. Literally dozens of them. But it's a pleasant walk for the ambience. I mean, you're in an unspoilt jungle. Dogs aren't allowed in here, by the way, officially. Same as officially, you're probably not supposed to be even on that path, but we shan't worry about that unduly. So I'm just going to have a sit down. I am actually wet through. I could have been sat in a bath with these on. It was a bit of an experiment, to be honest, because as some of you know, I had cancer in 2016 and had surgery to remove it, and the prostate and everything else, and hopefully that was it. But then in 2018 I had to have regular tests, and the test showed the cancer was back. Now, how it could come back when there was no prostate there, don't ask me, but anyway, it has spread to what are the lymph nodes. And women who have had breast cancer will understand this, because quite often they remove or irradiate the lymph nodes in the arms, and they end up with lymphedema in their arm, or both arms. Well, I had a lot of radiation treatment on my lymph nodes in the pelvic area, and of course, as well as destroying the cancer, which it did, it also destroys those lymph nodes. Consequently, I now have, it's called lymphedema in my legs, which means they swell up considerably. And after my falls on Black Rock, coming down from Black Rock a few weeks ago, and trouble getting up, I went to see a specialist. He's actually a German doctor, ex-German Olympic skier. He also practices at the Cheer Hospital here and has his own clinic in Patong. He checked out my knees, which I suspected being the problem, and he told me there was nothing wrong with my knees. In fact, they were better than his. But the lymphedema is the issue, because obviously the weight of your legs drastically increases when they're full of fluid. Well, he ordered me, and last week I got what I can only describe as sort of stockings grandma would have worn. Thigh-length ones, but self-supporting with silicone bubbles on the top, and certainly they seem to work in keeping the swelling down. But when I was walking, I thought I'd try them on a walk this week on Tuesday. I just went to the local walk, Lakewood, and when I came back, my trouser legs were quite dry, because although these things are supposed to be breathable, there was no sweat coming out, but I was soaking wet where they ended, so it was almost like all the sweat was coming out around my seat. It looked as though I'd had an accident. So I thought I'll try today without them on, see if it makes any difference, because if you're having exercise, strictly speaking, you shouldn't get so much problem with swelling. So I'll find out about that when I get home. So if that's anybody suffers from edema, and I know millions of people around the world do, you might find will I find out useful or not. So I'm just going to have a drink now and a different protein bar which I ordered online, and we'll see what that one's like. The others I gave away from last week because they're awful. So I'll speak to you probably when we get back to the car park. If it's anything like last time, you'll find car park full and probably people swimming in the lagoon if there's enough water. Yeah, my doggies. Hello. You had a good collection. Hey. Hello. Go Bang Pae now. Bang Pae to
Tonsai.
yeah, now back Bang Pae. Have a look.
Okay.
What is? Go. What you go? No. Is it that? Oh, a lot.
Yeah.
Good. Collecting these seeds. Okay. So you live where?
And Talang.
Talang.
Yeah.
Oh, long walk.
Long way.
Sawadee Kap. This is sort of thing that makes the path impassable, and you have to sort of beat your way up through brambles and things just to get around it. So here we are back at the waterfall, and yeah, you can see it's popular with kids swimming, jumping in. Nice way to cool off on a Sunday afternoon. Hello, as you can see I'm back here at home now. Had a shower and suitably refreshed. It's a good walk insofar as it's very natural in the jungle, but it is a tough walk. I mean, it's there and back without even going all the way to Tonsai was only about 11 kilometres, just shade short of that, including all my detours to find the path again. And total ascent is just over 1,000 feet or 320 odd metres. But it did take me the best part of 6 hours, which is incredibly slow progress. And the reason for that is because you're continually having to walk off the path and then find your way back onto it. Very easy to end up walking in circles if you're not careful. You do need a GPS with you, or you need to be very good at map reading and using a compass. I would always start it at that end, I think, unless you want to start after 9 o'clock in the morning, then you could start at Tonsai, and providing you're young, fit and want to scale that waterfall, which is slippy. I'm afraid my days when Jill and I used to hop up Gordell Scar in the Yorkshire Dales are long gone. But if you're young and fit, you should be able to climb up that waterfall and then head over to Bang Pae. You might want to consider doing it one way only to start with, and leaving your truck at Bang Pae, and then having somebody else meet you, or the other person with you drop their vehicle at Tonsai. It is 20 kilometres to drive it, so bear that in mind. But all in all, yeah, good work, good workout. I weighed myself as a matter of interest before I started, and I weighed myself again just now I've had a shower. And I've lost 2 kilos on that walk, which doesn't surprise me. It was like walking in a sauna. As I showed you, yeah, that was pouring off. But if you're after losing some weight and you don't go tucking in when you've finished, then you do a walk like that every week and it'll come rolling off. Okay, enough said. See you next time.